Hey everybody, looks like we made it to yet another Wednesday. God bless. I'm so happy to see you. This is part 3, which is very exciting. And I'm always appreciative of seeing you guys on Wednesday. Right now it's part 3 of Chinoa, which is really cool. Hey Wendy, how you doing? So far everything seems to be working relatively smoothly. Let's go ahead and see if I can actually pull up part 3 here on the big screen so I can make sure everything is okay on my end. I'm going to go to my videos. There we are. Part 3 is live, and I just have to lower the volume. Everything is okay on my end. I just have to very quickly lower that volume or mute it. It's just one moment. There we go. And it looks like I already can see people. So Wendy, so cool. So glad you can make it. Little interesting thing here is I forgot to do the white, and so there was a little bit of ink here, so I was able to load my Badger 100G airbrush with the white mixture. Hey Tone, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. And what I'm doing now is I'm very lightly adding the white. I don't recommend this. This is quite risky because of the blue shift. But I think we're okay as long as we go very slow and very gradual. So you see, we still can do the white, but we got to be very careful. And so I have this airbrush right here, which is the 100G, which is the Badger 100G, which is a really great airbrush. I highly recommend it. And what I have in the airbrush is my white mixture. And this works perfectly with this. Perfect dilution of the illustration white, the 50/50 illustration white, and the 40/12 reducer, but it's calibrated strictly for this technique. And that's included in my ink mixtures if anyone wants to purchase them. You can see below right here, you can see you can purchase them at paintedglyphs.com. Thank you. I appreciate that, Wendy. I appreciate that so much. How's it going, Tone? I'm not going to do too much of the white. I'm just going to establish some of that white, and the rest I'm going to probably do with white pastel later. So it was kind of touch and go there for a little bit because XSplit, which is my software that I do the live streams with, updated. And so that's why I barely made it at 9:30. But it seems as, if I start getting ready all the way to, if I start getting ready all the way to, maybe 6 o'clock in the afternoon and it's 9:30, I'll still be rushing at the end. It's just the nature of it. You can never be too prepared, I think. Wendy's doing a portrait of a dog, which is coming out very fantastic. And Tone's working with the ink mixtures, doing some incredible technique with that. So I knew you would hit the ground running. So as you can see, what we're looking for. Hey Rick, happy Wednesday. Good to see you, my friend. I'm so glad you can make it. Christmas is right around the corner, isn't it, guys? I mean, literally around the corner. I actually got to have my chat up, and it's looking pretty good, thank goodness. So right now we're just looking to soften things up. And you see this Badger 100G is working really fantastically. This would be a pretty cool airbrush to get You know, if you're an airbrush collector, you know, with the happy birthday sale coming up, definitely. Yes, right around the corner, Wendy. Exactly. Literally around the corner. I agree. It's going to be upon us before we know it. Let's make sure. Oh, looks like I ran out of the light mixture here. Let's go ahead, and so we have it right here. Just very quickly load that. Glad to hear that tone. So just see how quickly I could load this light mixture here. And this light mixture actually comes with the ink mixture set, which is really great. So you can do all aspects of this technique. And of course I have you can see I have a MAC valve here. And always test on a test paper, you know. Make sure you don't get any spits or blowouts or anything like that. That's something you want to avoid at all costs. Now there is a slight blue shift here, but I'm going very thin. Normally I would do this before, but I did forget. Oh, yeah, the Badger sale. So Wendy has more information on that than I do. Uh, but this is a great airbrush, so I really enjoyed it. It works great for the white mixture. As you can see, I'm just going so soft. I just want to create a softness here with her hands. Thanks, Wendy, for that help. I appreciate that. And we're going to come back in with the light mixture. Not the white mixture, but the light mixture. And we'll adjust some of this. We have gone over a little bit, but that's nothing we can't fix. There we go. And then we have a blast of light over here. So I want to pretty much come in there and really hit some of those really powerful light areas. Just keep it nice and soft. Oh, 2020, okay. And as you can see, a little bit of the white goes on to black. That's a lot better than the other way around. like if I wanted to go into a real dark area, it would be impossible because of the blue shift. But since I'm going on the white area, hey Ray, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. Have you guys seen the painting that Ray did, the Scarlett Johansson? Wow, that was just kicking butt. That was fantastic, Ray. Real pleasure to see. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing? Missed you last week, my friend. So as you see right now, I'm just building up the light mixture. I did forget to do it on the earlier stage. But you know what? You know, that's sometimes good things happen on accident, so I'm just gradually lightening this area, sculpting the forms of her skull. You know, beautiful woman like this, and you know, yes, she has a skull, so we have to paint the skull underneath, you know. So Ray says, hey Tim, do you have issues with the front adjuster coming loose all the time? Now, is that this right here? Is that what you mean? Not really, but I tighten it like a mofo, you know. I really tighten it, Ray, so I don't have that too often, if that's what you mean. Now, okay, so this is the Badger 100G I'm working with. This kind of, sometimes I hit this right here and that moves. That's the only issue I have there, Ray. Oh, on the extreme. No, not too often. This thing doesn't come loose too often, but I do hit this thing, and I know you do that too. You hit it accidentally, and then the air goes down. So, but yeah, I mean the extreme, I'm pretty good with that. So as you can see, we're just very gradually. Remember, we are never in, yeah, the plastic one, exactly. Oh, that's right, yes. Yes, that does. I do hit that all the time, Ray, definitely. What happens, it closes on me, and then all of a sudden the air doesn't come out, and I just have to adjust it. Minor issue. It's usually my hand that gets in the way. But as you can see, I'm having a good time adjusting the light here, and I'm not having too much issue. Maybe here it's a little bit of a blue shift, but we can fix that. So where there is like an established amount of tone you want to stay away from. So Ray says he cut the spring down out of a cheap lighter and put it in the threads of his Mac valve to keep it have tension. Wow, that's interesting. That's pretty cool. So I definitely want to stay where there is established tone, because I don't want to mess with that blue shift. But as you can see, this is very soft, and we're going to go over it with the dark. Oh, Mike, you do that. Okay, so I understand. So, okay, so sorry about that. Got my wires crossed there. Yeah, I do that too. I hit that a little bit, so that happens all the time. Hey, Willie, how you doing? How's everything? Oh, so... Oh, I see. So Willie took it off and put a piece of tape over the hole. Now, it also comes with a small plug, and that works as well. It's a smaller piece, and you could use that if you have that, Willie. But a tape would work just fine. So Ray says, no, not the Mac valve, the plastic valve on the front and the bottom of the... So Ray's talking about the precision air control valve that is with the hey, what's up, Raul? Good to see you. How are you? Would I compare it with the Iwata Eclipse HPCS? Not favorably, in the sense that the this I would compare with the Eclipse, but the Extreme Patriot Arrow I would compare with a Micron. I know that's a bold statement, but that's as honest as I can get. Even though it's $100 airbrush, you know, if you do the little tweaks that I do here and there, that airbrush will become as good. And Ray could attest, and Willie and everybody, that it's even more reliable and not finicky like the custom Microns. So, you know, that's something to really think about. But yeah, you know, when I speak, you know, I work with these things, you know, at 6-hour clips. You know, when I'm doing, you know, artwork to sell, portrait commissions, doing my own stuff, I'm always using, you know, this airbrush, which is the Extreme Patriot Arrow. I've made some adjustments. You know, I changed the trigger, of course, and so right now I have the medium mixture in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the medium mixture. Now when you're going from, here's a really good tip. When you guys are going from medium to, or dark to medium, or medium to light, you definitely want to clean out the cup. If you don't, the darker color is going to contaminate and mix with your light mixture or lighter mixture. And what that's going to do is going to be darker than what you want. And remember, the light mixture gives you a lot of control. So that's why you go as light as possible. That's why you stay in the light mixture until you're ready. Stay in the medium mixture until you're ready, and then go into your dark mixture. You don't want to rush any of that. So I hope that helps, and that's a very important concept right there. So that's something that, you know, if you do have your darker color and you want to go light, you do have to make those adjustments. So now I have the light mixture in there, and okay, so let's go ahead and just go back into the hair and go back into where the white sort of mixed with the established dark color, because a little bit of a blue shift there, but that's no big deal. 6 hours is just time I spend practicing. Yeah, that's true. That's really cool. So yeah, Ray's working really hard. You can definitely see it. So that's great to see. And so that's what we're you know, working on right now. So Wendy says she was visiting a sick friend, tried to get on live feed, and the hospital server wouldn't allow her to. Oh, that was last week. Wendy missed you, and yes, we had no cake, Wendy. So that's exactly, Willie's correct. So it's definitely good to see everybody today. You know, the holidays. So I'm thinking next Wednesday is going to be Christmas Day. I don't know if that's going to be a good day for the live stream. Maybe I'll do it on Thursday. What do you guys think? You think Thursday would be better than Christmas Day? I'm still going to do the live stream, but maybe we'll do Christmas Day, you know? Raul says, do you have the 0.5 or the 0.7 in my 105? I actually, I have the 0.21 needle in here, which is the detailed kit. So I definitely need that precision. So that's why I say, you know, with my little adjustments, basically turns this into a micron type of airbrush. So we are going to have our dinner Christmas on Thursday. Okay. So what are we thinking? Maybe not on Christmas? Oh, hey Ray. No time off for the weary, Ray. I just, it's so important to me to have that sense of consistency. We can't always do it, but I definitely want to have that because, in an age where consistency is something not heard of anymore, I definitely want to do that. And so if I don't do it on Christmas Eve or Christmas, I'm definitely going to do it on that Thursday. So that's something that I think is really, really important. You guys are important to me. And, this live stream, I look forward to it all the time. So as you can see, I'm just reestablishing that dark. And I have to reestablish that hard edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, remember, perpendicular and not parallel. So you got a little wet. When that happens, just make sure you don't panic. You just assess the situation, let it dry and go back. Wendy says that she can watch it later. Yes, definitely. So I'm not sure when I'm going to do it. But, I understand you guys will be busy, but it is will be available to you guys, even afterwards. So right now what we're doing is we're just reestablishing the darks with the light mixture. And you want to go in with the light mixture when you're doing adjustments because you're not married to the adjustments, which is really good. Ray says, okay, but if you don't pass out candy canes, I'm going to have a reconsider. That's funny. Yes. As you can see, we're just reestablishing those darks that, when we went in with the white, sort of took away. There we go. Now we're going to have to come darker, of course. But what we're doing is just setting things up. Now this eye is in shadow. Clean off make sure you always clean off that freehand shield because that will come back to haunt you if you just move around color. Hey Zavi, how you doing? Oh, you're very welcome. So I looked at tracking, Zavi, and it says that your ink should arrive on Saturday. So that's cool. Did you get the tracking, my friend? I emailed you the tracking, Zavi. And so you see, we're in that sort of nitty-gritty, sort of get down and dirty kind of stage here. We're doing the heavy lifting now. When we go back in with the light mixture, we're always doing the heavy mixture. The heavy lifting. So right now we're just going to establish. Gloria, good to see you. How are you? So glad you can make it. That is so cool. Now here's something interesting. And I want you to see this as soon as my loud compressor stops. So I'm just going to wait for that. But this is a very good tidbit of information. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so I went ahead and blew this up, and what I'm going to do is I want to talk about when you look at references, you want to ask yourself, this dark, is it part of the lip or is it a cast shadow? And that's something you really have to ask yourself, because that is really going to help you. So if you look at this side, this is part of the cast shadow. But on this side, the dark is actually part of that lower lip. So those are decisions you really have to make there. This is part of the lower lip, and then over here it becomes the cast shadow. So that's something that you would have to make that decision so you know exactly what you're painting. So, you know, just a little tidbit of information. Let's go back to our lips and let's work on that together. It'll just be a quick couple of moments, you know. Hey, Bill, good to see you. How are you, my friend? And so that's what we're going to do right now. So you see right here, that dark as it comes down is actually part of the lip there. And then here it's part of the lip. But over here, it's the cast shadow. So what you can always do, and I want you to always realize that you can always come in with the pencil if you want to be a little more exact. And that's fine. So we can just come in here and just create that little bit of a cast shadow right there. And then we could come in here. We can lower that pack valve just a little bit. And this is precise. And I'm going to really get in there and work on her lip there. And so I have the Pure Ref program, so I really highly recommend it. Pure Ref, you guys can't see it on my program, but with Pure Ref, it is absolutely unbelievable. I can get the same size as my reference. Same here is we're going to be looking at, let's see, whether or not it's a cast shadow or, you know, it's the shadow between two lips. Right here, it's a little bit of a cast shadow. Remember, everything's going to look a little dark right now because we're still in the light mixture. You want to stay in the light mixture as long as possible, guys. And, oh, yeah, so Bill's taking a break. Okay, so that's good. You definitely need a break, Bill. And Wendy's, you know, has migraines. So, oh, boy. So I'm glad you're feeling better, Wendy. That's horrible. So as you can see, we can really start getting involved in some nice detail here. But this is definitely micron territory here. And, you know, I'm being 100% honest here. So let's go ahead and just create beautiful dark striations in her lip here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of detail in this bottom lip. Not going crazy. Wendy says I'm the lip master. That's funny. Thanks, Wendy. As you can see, detail is not just, you know, having the right airbrush. It's part of it. But it's also Super Sicko. How's it going? It's part of it. But it also has to do with the ink mixture and your air pressure and your distance. But you can't get this kind of precision if you're too dark. So always remember that you have to go darker. When you have to go darker, realize you're going to lose some of the precision, and that's just the nature of the medium. So in painting with airbrush, the less of the dilution, whether it's with water or with medium, you're going to have less control. So stay with as much dilution for as long as possible to get as much control as possible. Super says, Tim, how can you produce such small detail? What's the trick? Definitely is dilution. Using this precision air valve, and also just, distance and, and practice, of course. So, little by little we're getting there, and we're just going to create a little bit of texture here and there in her lip. Nothing too crazy, but, we can go ahead and start to put a little bit of information here that we're going to use later down the line. There we go. So you see, we want to create, sort of the ripple effect of what's happening to her lip, and how the lip and the opening of her mouth, especially at the corner, and what that does with that ripple effect to her lips and everything like that. So I'm just going to check out and see where this would probably come out right about here. There we go. You don't want to go too crazy, but we definitely want to not avoid tough areas. That's something we don't want to do. So you attack, you attack these tough areas. You attack. Remember, every battle is won or lost before it's ever fought, So the cake, thank you. I appreciate that. So let's see. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to reintroduce the dark here. So remember, we sort of, so you can see what we did here. So we did a little bit of work on her lips there, and that looks dark. It's only because everything else is so light, using the light mixture. So let's go ahead and establish some of that dark, just a little bit more perpendicular and not parallel. Clean that off before we go back in. There we go. So we want to create that sense of her hand sort of cupping over her eye. And let's darken up that eyebrow. There we go. And same here. Let's go ahead. Whatever we do on one eye, we definitely have to adjust the other eye. And I'm definitely not in a rush to finish this. So it's more important that I teach you guys more than finishing it and making it look perfect. That's what these live streams about, you guys, and teaching you as much as possible. Oh wow, Willie's on a sugar diet. Wow. Hey Bill, catch you later, my friend. Get some rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut my door so the compressor is not as loud. So you guys can't see it, but there's a little bit of a blue shift here, and we're just going to get rid of that by reintroducing the dark by using the light mixture, and just get rid of that blue shift just a little bit. Now I don't recommend doing the white mixture like I did in the beginning here because I forgot to do it earlier. So we definitely have to do the light mixture in the beginning before we do any ink whatsoever. But since I forgot it, I went ahead and did it. That was very risky, and so I don't recommend you guys doing that. But this was sort of, no choice but to experiment. And we lucked out, so as you can see. So we were able to, get that light, because without that, she's not going to be coming forward, guys, and that's not good. So we are still doing that whole thing where you can win that painting of Alice A. And it's this painting right here. And you guys could win that, and you just have to go ahead. Now next week is when we're going to have the drawing of who wins this. And so right now, I want to thank my Patreon members right now who are actually in the drawing for winning this particular painting, which is very exciting. So right now, I want to thank Stephen Mutter, Robert Blackie, Brad Mummery, Gloria Cabasa, Wendy Stevens, and Ray Havian. And so you guys, thank you so much. If I butchered your names, I'm really sorry. But you guys really help, and I really appreciate it. So right now, there's only 6 people in the running to win that original painting of mine. So not bad. And you just go on to patreon.com and Painted Glyphs, and I'm gonna have in the description field you'll see the link, so that's pretty cool. So thank you guys for being Patreon members, and I really appreciate that. So Tone says he's looking at my light mixture, and he's looking at my light mixture, and I have to make adjustments. Yeah, you might have to go a little bit lighter. That's what I might be thinking. Yes, and yes, so I'm definitely rooting for you, Ray. It's in my best interest for Ray to win. That's funny. So that's cool. So I definitely, every live stream I'm going to be thanking my Patreon members, and I'll be thanking you when I do my videos as well. Once in a while I'll do my regular recorded videos, that sort of thing. So right now I'm just sort of cleaning up the overspray of the white. So let me take Alice A out of there. So just wanted to show you what you guys could win if you go ahead and join the Patreon, which is pretty exciting, to win something like that. So right there you see that's the address if you want to be part of the drawing. It's going to be next week. I don't know if it's going to be Christmas or the day after Christmas or Christmas Eve. I'm not sure. So, but next week is definitely the drawing. So right now it's 1 in 6 of winning that, and it comes to a lot of contests. Well, I'm just going to do the same thing where I just take all my Patreon members like yourself, and I'm going to just put you in a hat and draw out the winner. So that's pretty exciting. It's either that or we meet up in like Michigan or something, and we just have a foot race and see who wins. And so as you see, we're just cleaning up that white there. So with the light mixture, we're staying pretty light, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to stay on a nice light, so we're not pretty much married to anything that we are doing. And so we can make adjustments down the line. So as you can see, I'm cleaning up some of, let's see if you can see it if I blow it up. Just a little bit of the blue shift that I am fighting. Let's see here. You can see some of the blue shift right here. So you see, I'm just going to take the light mixture and I'm just going to adjust that and get rid of that little bit of a blue shift. I recommend using your freehand shields, but if you have control, then go ahead and just do this. But it all depends, you know. It's no big deal if you're, you know, use the freehand shield. So that's cool. So let's go out back here. Okay, so there we are. And oh, right. Michigan's supposed to get snow, huh, Ray? That's something. So be careful there. That's for sure. We got a snow squall today, which was like a 15-minute blizzard. That was it. Those are the best kind of snowstorms. Looks pretty, leaves a dusting, and that's it, right? So that's perfect. Okay, so we are just continue working on Chenoa here. I'm going to lighten that up. I was a little overzealous, but I'm going to let it dry before I lighten that up. I want to make sure I have these angles correct. There we go. Oh, right, the snow belt in Lake Erie. Yeah, you get a lot of lake effect snow, huh? Oh my goodness. And let's see here. Let me go ahead and lighten this up just a little bit. It's dry, so you see I can lighten that up, which is great, you know. That's why you have the light mixture. You can make those adjustments. Now, if I was using the medium mixture too fast, I would lose a lot of the adjustment ability. Now, these eyes, they look really good now, but wait till we come in with the dark accents and then with the white pastel. That's when the magic happens. But that's what we do right now. We're just setting up for the end, you know. We're setting up for the crescendo, the grand finale, so to speak, you know. So that's something that we look forward to, but we got to be diligent and work towards. And not go too fast or ahead of ourselves. Stay with the recipe, so important. Now we're also going to have a really good time painting her eyes and everything. That's going to be really fantastic. Coming in with the highlights on the lips, all of that. And, you know, wherever you see that, you know, you might have gotten a little overzealous, you can always fix. So, you know, never be afraid to adjust, but don't worry about it looking like her, you know. Never ever worry about that, guys. That's so important. Oh, cool. So I don't know if snow makes it in the U.S. postal system. That's funny. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure I don't erase where the white is. If I don't, you know, unless I want to create tone, because when you erase here on the white, you're going to remove the white because it is the illustration white, and you're going to actually pull up some of the tone of the paper underneath. So it's a great byproduct of Drew's paint having such great erasability. Any adjustments from here we can definitely do with the we definitely can do with our pastel in the later stages. But right here, let's go ahead with our light mixture and just paint the dark of this finger here. Little soft edged here. It's really not hard edged, so we can definitely, you know, just paint it with your airbrush. Now, if you don't have the confidence, then go ahead and use your freehand shields. No harm in that. But as you can see, you know, we can definitely do well to put in detail right now with the light mixture. So I can make that darker and lighter, meaning the fingernails, no problem. Wendy says she hates the winter, and so yeah, you know, oh, that's right, Ray's supposed to be in Arizona, so right now he's still in Ohio. With this weather, I bet you wish you were in Arizona, huh, Ray? So what we're going to do is so I want to make sure at this later stages, you know, when I was painting, you know, the white, I lost some of the drawing of that hand. Willie says, any changes for you or the channel for the new year? Very interesting. I'm definitely going to do, remember I did last year a state of the YouTube channel. I should do that video. I think the changes that I'm going to make in 2020 are going to be, you know, continuing with the live streams and, you know, being the main focus. Now, some channels, the focus is doing regular videos, you know, but my focus has to be the live streams. The reason being is that this way I could spend time with you guys, and I would miss that if my main focus was regular videos. Even though my channel may grow faster, I don't want to do that, you know. So the live streams, you guys could ask real-time questions, and it's just more fun. I get to know you guys, so definitely want to keep that as a focus. What I'm going to do is oh, Ray's daughter's getting married in the spring. That's exciting. So that's so cool. So I'm very happy for you and your family, Ray. That's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing digital art as well. So I'm thinking of doing a separate digital art channel, or maybe doing it on this channel, but it depends. I think I'm going to do a separate channel for digital art, just using the program Krita. But I have, oh, here's something really cool coming in 2000. We're going to have a giveaway for a subscription, a 1-year subscription for the Airbrush Step-by-Step magazine. So that's going to be a real cool thing. You know, the editor contacted me, and he loves the channel, and we're going to do something that's really fantastic. But just a giveaway like we're doing now, and that's going to be exciting. So, you know, with that giveaway, you would basically just make sure that you're subscribed and like the video, that sort of thing. So we're going to do that in January. So that's going to be great. Oh, my guest says, Tim, you know, Tim's a great artist when the art looks better than the real pic, and this art does in my... Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. So I know a lot of you guys and girls are doing digital, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have digital on this channel. Or what do you guys do? Let me hear your thoughts. You'd rather this to be, you know, pretty much strictly airbrush, or would you be okay having digital art on this channel? Not on the live streams, mind you. The live streams, they're not going to be touched, but regular videos. So Wendy says yes on the digital. Hey, Michelle, ¿cómo estás? Estoy muy contento a verte. It's good to see you. Michelle says that she's hiring me for photograph classes too. That's exciting. It's always great working with you. And Michelle is a student of mine using the Skype, so that's exciting. Another channel might work better, so we're going to do that with the digital. So that's good. So we're definitely going to mull that over. I might do a separate channel just so I can, just have, more streamlined. I want this to be 100% airbrush. Airbrush makeup, I don't know about that. That would be funny. All of a sudden you see me doing airbrush makeup, guys. Oh my God. So I think I'm going to stick with just the airbrush for this channel. Do a second channel, which is going to be digital art, which won't affect this channel anyway. But yeah, more giveaways in 2020. So that's exciting. Make you guys look skinny. You guys look great as it is. How can I mess with perfection, guys, right? Oh, there is an interesting video coming up. I don't know if I talked about it last week, but I'm in the editing version. About a week ago, I did the waking up at 5 a.m. challenge, and I videotaped the whole day and the whole week, and waking up at 5 a.m. or at least trying to wake up at 5 a.m. And it was quite interesting. I think you guys might find that interesting. So it's going to be like a vlog kind of thing, but me getting up at 5, dark and getting in the car, all that stuff. That's funny. Super says, how long when I sign up for 101 course does it take? It's, you can start right away. So what I like to do, it's 18 hours. So I like to break it up into 2-hour sessions, and those sessions are up to you when you use them. So you could have it for, 3 times a week, and you can spread that off up to 6 weeks if you want. You can have that 2 hours a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks, and that would equal the 18 hours. So yeah, definitely. Definitely up to you. So it's really great. So definitely do that. Oh, Willie says he wish he could sleep till 5 a.m. Oh, he gets up real early for work. Michelle says he sure can, but next year let's challenge him to do something extra while he gives a class. Like juggling or something? Oh, Friday. That's amazing. So super. That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to studying with you, and Skype is fantastic, and I do a lot more now with correcting your work using Critter as software, and you can see how I can make changes or suggestions in real time, which is really great. Thank you, Wendy, for that. I appreciate that. Oh, so cool, Wendy. I appreciate it. So Willie says, Tim, do you need for the setup for what do you need to set up? All you need is a webcam. I recommend there's the Logitech C920 webcam, which is like $49, $50 around there, and that's it. An internet connection. And what we do is I call you on Skype and we work together. You see what I'm doing. I see what you're doing. You ask me questions while you're doing it. We work on projects together. It really worked out better than I thought it would. Very happy that it is a very effective way to learn. If there was my teacher, Harvey Dinnerstein, had this, I never would have went to the academy. And that's just the honest truth. So, and it's so important because I can teach you guys via Skype, not just how to airbrush, but also how to see, which is really fantastic. Okay, so here's something interesting. We're going to test something now. So you see I put the white here with the homeschooling. and thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to test the pastel on the surface that has the white mixture. So you see I have my sandpaper and my Faber-Castell. We're going to go like this. We're going to get our tortilla, and let's see how this reacts. This is just really a test to see if this is malleable, that I can go ahead and adjust some of the shape here. And look at this, just perfect and beautiful. Really just works really well. Oh, that would be a great Christmas gift. Oh man, it'll be fantastic working with you. We work on a painting, the subject of your choice. Of course, I will okay it to see if it's, has the proper lights and darks, And then we go from there and we work on it together. You there in your studio, me in my studio. And then you just ask questions, I correct, and we just have a good time. 2 hours a session. I find those who have studied with me, 2 hours is a really good sweet spot. Don't you guys think? There's a lot of information I'm giving. We're not just working on the portrait together. I'm just giving you tons of information that I learned from, studying at the Academy and the Art Students League and all those places. Studying with those great teachers, all the information they gave me, their teachers gave them, and so on through the history of art. I'm able to go ahead and share that with you guys. So that's exciting. So as you see, I'm just doing some premature white, and I'll tell you why. Because I want to do some drawing adjustments. And Wendy says, I wish I would have done mine on the new paper because my Canson was naughty. Yes, that's one of the things I speak about is the economy of the paper. I did an impromptu, I don't know if any of you guys seen on Facebook. I did a very impromptu live stream on Facebook, just very quick. I was working on a nude, a male nude, and I just wanted to talk about my ink mixtures. But there I definitely talked about how, we always have to worry about the economy, be economic minded with the surface. So always use the softest erases possible. So you see right now what I'm doing is I'm fixing some of the drawing, and it's so malleable with the white pastel, which is really great. I'm going to come back in here, but I'm really just fixing the drawing right now, softening up some of this here. Rick says, hey Tim, my wife says she's learning how to airbrush. She never touched the airbrush, but as I watch you, she's listening, learning from you. Man, so hey, Mrs. Lotta, good to see you. So thank you for watching, Rick and Mrs. Rick there. So I'm so glad that you guys are watching. Yes, get your gal lessons. And what's one of the great things about the live stream, if anyone can afford the lessons right now or whatever, or the time, that's why I always want to keep these live streams going. Really want to an art history class. Yes, that would be fascinating. I wonder who would take an art history. I'm a bit of an art history savant, it's just something that I've always been like a hobby with. I can pretty much, look at a painting and almost tell you the year, the artist, the art movement that it was done. When I go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, And I'm not bragging or anything. This is just what happens. And I'm with a friend, and they're asking me about a painting, and I'll, start telling them some of the information about the painting, the artist. And all of a sudden, before you know it, I have a crowd. And anyone will ask you if you ever went to the Met with me. A crowd of like 15 people, following us around. I don't realize it, but they think I'm a tour guide at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's very funny. So that's hilarious. Yes, I do. The Met is just the most amazing place. Any of you guys ever make it to New York, I'll definitely give you a tour of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. That would be my honor. Okay, so you see we are just, adjusting a little bit with the white pastel. Not going too crazy, but what I can do is I can, at this early stage, I don't recommend it too often, but right now I'm just doing some drawing adjustments here. So when I forgot to do the white, it sort of opened the door. Wendy says they should pay me. Thank you, Michelle. That's cool. Maybe I will do an art history course. That would be fun. Definitely would be a lot of fun. I love art history. Have you guys ever seen the Power of Art series by Simon Schama? It's on YouTube, right here on YouTube. Have you guys checked it out yet? Oh, Willie. Oh, man, it's good to talk to you. If I don't see you before, Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for hanging out. Maybe an art history YouTube channel. What do you guys think of that for 2020? Would that be something that would be interesting? That you guys would find interesting? That would take a lot of work, though, because art history, you definitely have to get your facts and your dates straight. But that's definitely a good idea as far as a YouTube channel. And I think that would be great as a class to have. Thanks, guys. I really enjoy art history. So that's something I really appreciate, you guys taking the time to give me such great suggestions. Okay, so you see right now we are just working on the shapes here. But you see the white pastel really does a great number on adjusting the values and the shapes, which is really cool. Right here it sort of gets lost, so we want to lose this sort of laugh line. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, we got to lose it. So let's just pull this in. There we go. And so that's so cool. Wendy says, zoom in the pic and go to town. Wendy says, can you spray over the pastel? There are some camps that say, remember, I've been working in pastel since the 80s, okay? So pastel is something that I pretty much know what it's going to do before it does. And I would never, okay, now I thought you meant fixative. I would never spray fixative over pastel. But you can definitely airbrush over pastel. No problem whatsoever. Without any kind of problems. But I don't recommend doing it because it's not part of the recipe. You might have to. Like I said, I made the mistake. Yes, ink, you can go over it, but you don't want to go over a thick layer of pastel. If it's thin, it's okay. It won't harm you or it won't harm the painting or have any weird adverse side effects. But definitely, it's not a practice to do. So definitely, so you definitely want to stick with that recipe. That's so important. Let's go ahead and work on this in here, which is actually not on the finger, but in between the fingers here. Remember the 1 second rule? So important. See that? Just to get those fingers, you know, what's going on in between those fingers there. There we go. So just get that little disparity between those 2 fingers here. It's so soft, and I'm just going to be really soft here. There we go. Same thing here. This is super soft, and we might even be able to go ahead and erase some of that tone away. Because remember, we have the white mixture, which is over. Hey, what's up, Brad? Brad, good to see you from all the way from Canada. So cool. So Brad just got the paper. Wendy came up with the great find. Wendy and Brad, that in Canada it's available via Utrecht, and that's pretty exciting. So thank you, Wendy and Brad, for coming up with that. So if you guys are having trouble with that, I'm going to come in with the white pastel with that finger over there, but we're going to do that later. But before that, let's just take our... Ray says, if you put brown under black for hair to give it more vibrance, have you tried brown under the black for the same thing? I really haven't, but what I did do is I did an underpainting using Venetian red, and I did that with acrylic, and that was a few years ago. And the reason why I did it, because, you know, the Venetian artists, you know, Veronese, Titian, those guys, they used Venetian red as an underpainting. And the philosophy of underpainting with Venetian red is that when you go over it, it has a feeling of blood underneath. And it really is great. And I did that, and I put pastel over it. And that was pretty great. Brad says, did you guys start early tonight? No, it's 9:30 Eastern time. So I know you're in Edmonton, so it's probably 9:30. It's actually 9:30 right now for you. But it's always 9:30 Eastern time, Brad. Sorry about that. But this is going to be recorded, so there's no problem. So Wendy says, ooh, blood. Utrecht, yes, very good. So basically that's what the thinking is with that particular philosophy of the Venetian underpainting. Let's see here. Okay, so right now we can go ahead and let's start to try. I'm going to get my little eraser here. We're going to try and pull out some of the lights in that hair of hers. So we're not at the halfway mark right now. Definitely not. Because we have a lot to fix. Remember, we were, just like the last live stream project we were doing, portrait painting, we did a lot of freehand shields. And with this freehand shield, you have these just beautiful hard edges, right, guys? But with having those beautiful hard edges, we have a lot of work to sort of soften those edges, bring them down, and that sort of thing. I don't know about fast, Wendy. I don't feel fast, you know, as far as this. But I would say, let me pull that out. Okay. You know, it's interesting, you know, I really feel that I'm very deliberate, but once you know the recipe and you sort of stick with it and have that focus, it goes by very fast. So, yeah, a lot of people say I'm very fast, but I think I'm so deliberate. But it really is, you know, it's about not pulling any punches, going all out, you know. Go hard or go home. Is that what they say, or something like that? So thank you. I appreciate it. I don't want to be fast, but it just seems like the recipe gets faster. And I always say it's a recipe, and that's why I really advocate, taking my course, because, it really gives you a recipe, this particular method of working. I always say that my method of working, and that's why I'm going to keep doing the India ink, the black and white, is because I think that the airbrush, how do you say, I kind of save the airbrushes from being on the chopping block on one of those sites, like one of those airbrushing sites where people just say, I'm fed up, I don't want to do it anymore. And they just sell the airbrushes, and some of those guys are just waiting to take that airbrush and buy it for half price. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to have that. So that's why, if nothing else, these live streams will give you guys some confidence. You can see the technique and try it yourself and bring that airbrush to life. You bought that airbrush for a reason. You were excited about it. And that's what I want to do, bring that excitement out. So Brad says the stuff from Utrecht took a little under a week. Once they got it coming, there was little mix up with the order, but it was shipped. Very cool. And the stuff that came from Edmonton only took 5 days. Now, what was the... there is a really good art store I used to order from Canada, and it was really great. But they stopped doing it because they were losing money with the exchange rate. I forget the name, but I really loved it. And they were really great customer service over there in Canada. So look how wonderful the eraser is working, getting some of the lighter values of the hair. It's really fantastic. And always that 1 second rule, paying attention to, there we go. Really pay attention, look for a second, paint for a second. That's the ratio that you want. There we go. So you see, we are moving around. That's so important, My guess is, I wonder how well mixed watercolors would spray through an airbrush. Anyone ever tried that? Very well. Remember, airbrush has this really tiny little hole, and it's with air. And so something like India ink or watercolor is actually what it's actually made for. It's not made for thick acrylics. And, we have to use them, and it's okay. I know how to use acrylics and the qualities, but the airbrush is really not made for acrylics. Now, watercolor, remember, you're going to realize when you put one watercolor over another, you're going to activate the drop proof. But yeah, a lot of people have done amazing watercolor today. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, so now you can use, I think you have to use a second program if you're going to use Krita. Krita is free, but you can also use Procreate, which I think is really fantastic. Because I know Brad's going to start getting into, Brad is going to go into the digital art, which is fantastic. So Tone says he needed to see this part. Now, is this the part with the working with the hair or the white pastel? Tone. So as you can see, we are just adjusting things here and there. There we go. All right, so we have the lips. I don't want to go too far into detail right now because that would kind of defeat the purpose of working slowly. just a little bit of an establishment of her nose there. There we go. Oh, the hair, very cool, Tone. As you can see, we just established some of those lights, and we're gonna go back in there. But it's so cool how you can just erase, you know, with the India ink, and that's what makes India ink just so great. You know, as far as the pencil lines are very easy to erase, that sort of thing, with India ink. Yes, the iPad Pro, but wish I could have gotten the bigger one. Oh, I see. Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, the iPad works very well as a digital tablet. Now I know Ray does some digital art, right? I mean, you use the digital to help your painting. So Tone says he'll do the highlights tonight. Oh, very cool. So I'd love to see how it comes out there, Tone. That's for sure. If you have any questions, you get stuck, you message me. If I'm up, but I'm going to bed right after this because I have to get up early. But you just message me and I'll definitely get back to you. So we're just moving around, you know, making sure we keep everything. Now this is interesting. I see I've gotten a little overzealous here with this dark by the finger, and I'm just going to, you know, I had gotten too dark right here, so I have to go ahead and lighten this up. And just adjust the angle here. Always make little adjustment, guys, as you can see them. You know, it's important, but it's also important not to make adjustments because you don't think it looks like her. It doesn't matter if it looks like the person you painted right now. That comes later. You're just paying attention to angles, softness, edges, that sort of thing. And just try and keep things rounded. What size do I usually cut the paper? Now, my friend David, he says that it's called A4, which is 8.5 by 11. So I always cut it 8.5 by 11. It's very easy to frame. It looks wonderful. The dimensions even better than 8 by 10 or 11 by 14. And you know, I have it professional. Okay, so how do I frame this? I definitely go to a Hobby Lobby, and they cut an 8.5 by 11 mat that I pick. And then I put it in a frame that I purchased there. So framing the whole work is very inexpensive, but it looks totally pro. Now, of course, you know, I exhibit in galleries and international shows, so I know how to wire it and, you know, backing and museum mounted, all that. So I'm going to be entering a couple of group shows this January, which is going to be fun. And so that's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely always work in a size where you're planning to frame it, right? So if you're working and someone wants something big, make sure it's in the standard size. 8.5 by 11, 11 by 14, 18 by 24, 24 by 36. Make sure it's in those standard sizes so you can go ahead and buy pre-made frames like at a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's or something like that. They're usually half off and you get great deals on that. So that's very, very important. So as you can see, we're just softening things up here. Let's work on the corner of her eye here. So we're going to go ahead and blow up, close up into her eye. So Ray says, Tim, I started turning my painting upside down after the initial layer, and wow, I see he sees so much different than the picture he's working from. It has turned out really help. Oh, that's fantastic. Anything to help you get more, that's a great way to see things more objectively. Oh, Michelle, have a great night. It's always great to talk to you. You are fantastic. And I really appreciate it. Viva la Mexico, right? Okay. Have a great night, Michelle. And thanks for coming by. Oh, so we were going to go ahead and blow up the eye. There we go. Okay. So what we were going to do is we were going to work on the corner of her eye here. I'm just going to pull this up here. There we go. So we're just working on the corner of her eye. And Wendy says estrogen needs more women in the live stream. Now that Michelle left. As you can see, now what's really cool is that we have it blown up. So I'm going to take one of my most soft erasers, and you can see I can erase some of these pencil lines that you see. And they erase pretty easily. But this one right here, that is probably a spidering. And that happens to the best of us. But it's so small, you can see it when it's blown up, but you don't really see it when normal size. But yeah, you got to be careful of spidering. Now the eye is darker right now, but we're going to come in with the white pastel at the end. Michelle says, Wendy, we're outnumbered. Oh, that's right. You're going to Puebla. Oh my God, vaya con Dios. Que bueno. That is so fantastico, Michelle. So I know you're going to have a great time. So, okay, something cool. Oh, that would be great, Michelle. Oh man, that's fantastic. I should talk to you before Christmas, though. But that's going to be fantastic to see Puebla. I hear it's a beautiful city. So you see, we are not getting too detailed. We're keeping things a little loose here, and that's what we want to do. But we want to start establishing some of those values here with lights and darks. Give that eye some volume. Merry Christmas! Yes, Feliz Navidad. And then we're gonna let that dry. You know, part of me is like, yes, let's go ahead and go in there, but you know, we got to be careful. if that's still wet and we erase, we can cause problems. So let's let that dry just for a few moments, and let's just work on this eye a little bit. Just pull out some light here on this eye. There we go. And then we'll go back. I think that eye is dry now. So there's a little bit of lighter value here on her eyelid there. We just want to establish that just a little bit. Just so we know we're paying attention. That's important. Same thing here. Just a little bit. Okay, so now that we have her eyebrow set up, let's go ahead and just work on that eyebrow a little bit more. Oh, plenty of beautiful things around to practice. Oh, I can't wait to see with the camera. Oh my goodness. That's going to be so exciting, Michelle. And we're there we go. Just giving a little bit more volume to her eyebrow here. Now I can lower my pack valve a little bit. Precision air control valve is the name that Badger uses for this little dial there. There we go. And let's move on over to the other eye. And let's see. I'm going to move. I want that other eye to be a little more obscure. So I'm going to darken things up a bit. There we go. Get a little bit of a spidering, but like I said, that looks big when we're working, but you know, we have it blown up, but it really isn't. Still got to be careful of it though. We can go white pastel over that, no problem. Okay, so we'll blow out and zoom out and see that we are starting to get some really nice Ray, have a great night, man. Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for the Patreon. And next week, we'll figure out who won that painting by Alice A. So that's exciting. Take care, Michelle. Always great to see you. You are amazing. And so take care, Ray. And Brad says he saw someone today on Facebook complaining about the micro valve adjustment being too loose. On this one right here, I think if you are, someone who is touching it, yeah, it is loose. But, you get used to it. And I think the pros really outweigh the cons on that, Brad. So definitely. Like I said, we have a lot of cleanup to do over here, that sort of thing. So we're at 11 o'clock already, so that's pretty good. So like I said, if you guys are interested, up here you'll see the Patreon. So if you sign up for as little as $4.99 a month, you could win the painting, which I'll be giving away. Next week. It'll be either Christmas or the day after. I haven't decided. Right now we're going to go with the day after Christmas because I think everyone is going to be with their families and, eggnog and noodle pudding and all that. So yes, on the Patriot, but it really isn't a problem. But if someone keeps hitting it, then I would say that's a problem. But as you see, I don't have that problem. I do hit it once in a while, but it's easily adjusted. It doesn't really get in the way of the workflow, and I think that's important. If it got in the way of the workflow, that would be I would tell you, because like I say, I'm a full-time artist, and, most of the time it's with the airbrush, so if this caused a problem with the workflow, I really wouldn't be advocating this brush in any way. But a few minor adjustments, and this airbrush definitely gives any micron a run for the money. And I could back that up any day. Okay, so you see we are having a good time painting Shanoa. Now let's go here and start working on the dark area here on this side of her forehead. There we go. We definitely want to create volume. It's not just this flat surface. The forehead has, different shapes within it, true to the anatomy. And even though we're painting a beautiful woman, we still want to show the anatomy. Maybe not as much as if we were painting a man, but oh, so I'm so glad you ordered that second arrow. That's fantastic. You're going to love it. Really, really going to love it. And, it's the best airbrush out there right now. And just from experience, I really feel, and with the slight adjustments that I make, it really makes it a powerhouse airbrush here. Just going to adjust that little area right there. And I know it's premature, but right now, I'm just adjusting the drawing a little bit. And I'm going to do that a little bit with the white pastel. There we go. Okay. Now, what we are going to do, we're going to make sure that we don't neglect any areas. So let's go ahead and start to work on some of the dark areas here with the light mixture. Remember, we're still in with the light mixture. Things are a little slower in this respect due to the fact I had to come in with the white. And there we go. Now we're going to come in with the medium and the dark mixture to really increase the amount of contrast here, because I think that makes a very pleasing painting with the contrast. There we go. Pull that down just a little bit. And let's go ahead and start worrying about some of the volume of the hair. Make this three-dimensional. But it really pays to move around. The reason being is you can see that the painting is evolving together, and it's not being, it's evolving together, but it's also not being an eye, a nose, a mouth. It's a one whole person that we're painting. So you want to make sure that you're moving around a lot, because it does create a, really does create the feeling of a person, not a series of, tightly rendered features. And it's sort of a real subtle difference. This is going to be interesting because this is all like sequins, and there's some sequins here, which is going to be very interesting and a lot of fun to do. But right now I'm just working on the hairline, softening things up. That 1 second rule is so important, guys, and I can't stress it enough. There we go. So I'm so glad that, you guys have been able to come by my live stream today. Right now we got like maybe another 20 minutes, but this was a very good live stream, very, very informative, great questions, and just a real success. Thank you guys for making it that way. Let's use our freehand shield here. Like I always say, don't worry about it looking like her. That's not our goal right now. Our goal is to stick with the recipe, pay attention to edges, pay attention to shapes, all that stuff. Here's a good thing to see. So when I come here, it looks like I went over a little bit. So I'm just going to, with my pencil, redraw this contour. It is a little bit like a bump. I want to get rid of it because I don't want it to be in my painting. So I'm just going to adjust. I like that better. Just makes for a more interesting painting. And same here. One second rule really helps you with what to paint and really seeing what's in your reference. So this time last year we were at about 1,800 subscribers. And I'm happy to say right now we're at 2,544 subscribers, which is really great, and that's exciting. So I'm happy to report that, and so we're getting a lot of views. I think the views are up like 20% from last year, and I think we have over 600 minutes of over 6,000 minutes of watch time this past year. So that's 6,000. That's 6,000 hours of watch time on my channel this year so far. So that's really exciting. So right now I don't see anyone chatting. Let me double check and see if I'm unable to see your chat. That happens. Let's come over here, and we are going to go to, I think I know what it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and reauthorize the chat, then I can see you guys again. Let's do that. Okay, so come here. Let's authorize this again. There we go. And let's see if that worked. Okay, there we go. So, hey, Zavi, good to see you. Tone. Okay, so fantastic. So what happened was the chat sort of lost the Sometimes the server loses a little bit, usually around 10:30, but today it was like at 11. Yes, super. You need to stay lighter longer. And oh, Zavi said he got his camera today. Fantastic. You're going to love how with the classes how clear that is. So I'm so glad. That Logitech camera, I have it, the C920. So just a great camera. You'll use it for all kinds of things. You can even do you can do a whole YouTube channel with that Logitech, which is great. So yes, super. Stay light longer. So important, so crucial. That's very important. So I missed anyone who went ahead and was typing in any kind of questions or anything. I couldn't see the chat, so now I can see it. So just re-exit, and I'll be more than happy to. So that's great, Zavi. I'm so excited. So I'm excited. Zavi's going to be taking a class with me, so I'm excited about that. So's Brad. So we got some really great things going on here. So very exciting. And just, really perfecting the teaching method, and that's really great. So really a lot of fun. Just moving around, taking it easy, and that's what we're doing now. So you see, look at the ability to create the hair, just moving about. Remember, so important is the fact that we are doing the 1 second rule, especially with the hair. There we go. Just really nice the way that the hair with this technique really just works with you and not against you, which is really great. So Zavi says, how do you repair mistakes with the ink? Oh, definitely. There's a lot of ways. You can use Pastel, as we did earlier. We can also, it erases pretty well. Working from light to dark really keeps you from making mistakes that you can't fix. Remember, we want to begin with the light mixture and take that light mixture really far. Look how far we're going to this. This is part 3. And then we'll go into the medium mixture, and medium mixture will go in and enrich the darks, but that's only after the light mixture. And at the very end, we're going with the dark mixture and then more white pastel. So yeah, so the light mixture, going light, is really the answer of not having any mistakes that you can't correct. So that should help, When we go over that technique together, you'll really see how that, really makes a difference. And so, I like to move around. Oh no, I make mistakes all the time, especially with this one right here. Remember, I was supposed to do the white in the beginning and I forgot, and I did it later. So yeah, so I make mistakes all the time. And mistakes are good. That's when we learn, So it's good to make mistakes. It sort of, teaches us to, think smarter when we're working in the future. I mean, how are we going to know if we don't have the mistakes every now and then, right? Let's take our freehand shield here. So like I said, if you want a chance to win that painting of Alice, I really, right now it's 1 of 6 chance. So if you go ahead and just become a Patreon for $4.99 using the address there, you can definitely be in the running. But being a Patreon, you do get critiques from me. You also get the ability to see videos that you can't see on my regular YouTube channel, and so that's really fantastic. So definitely, if you can, go ahead and use that Patreon, and I will put you in the running for not only the painting, but also other things that I'll have just for Patreon members, as well as things for just regular members as well, regular viewers. So, but definitely as a thank you. So we're just moving around, and there we go. So I'm really enjoying the way this painting is evolving. And there's really no rush. Now, some might say, oh, why don't you go in with the light mixture? I mean, with a medium mixture. And I think that would be premature. I still need this control. So this way I'm free and I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going too dark. You know, if I make a mistake, it's easily fixable. It's a little soft edge at this, so I'm just sort of just softening that up a little bit and darkening it at the same time. Here we have a little bit of a harder edge right here. Let's establish that. I would say we have another 3 or 4 parts to this particular painting we're working on together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and so right now we're still at the light mixture, but I'm just going to very quickly go in with the medium mixture. Just I don't recommend going to the medium mixture just yet. You might want to take your time, but right now I'm just going to go in with the medium mixture very quickly and just reestablish some of those darks that I lost when I went in with the white in the beginning. Okay. Like I said, when you're going dark to a light color, you definitely want to make sure you clean the cup out in your airbrush. But when you're going from a light to a dark, the light is not going to contaminate the dark. So, that's cool. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have that medium mixture. It's just a little bit darker. And let's go ahead and establish some of these darks. Reestablish with the medium mixture. There we go. Yes, Tone, going to the second stage too quickly is just going to give you a little bit more headaches than you really need. So it's always good to definitely take your time. Now, so you know I haven't gone with the medium mixture in her face or anything like that. I'm going to stay away from that because I still want to model the forms. So yeah, you want to definitely go slow with that, Tone. But what you did was really great, and you know, continuing what you're doing is really fantastic. But once you get the cadence down with this technique, you're really going to find it's really fantastic, enjoyable way to paint with the airbrush. And that's what it's all about, is enjoying ourselves and creating pretty cool artwork to boot. So I've been getting up early and going to bed early. So this live stream, I'm kind of dragging a little bit, and I kind of stopped having coffee after 5 o'clock. And so right now I am ready for bed. So we are finishing up this live stream. We're at 11:21, and I always want to give you guys, you know, you guys came to see me. I'm going to give you the full 2 hours because you guys are worth it. That's all is to it. So right here, we're just going to reestablish the dark, perpendicular and not parallel. Like I said, there are times when you want to go parallel, but this is not one of them. There we go. So you see, I'm just reestablishing that dark. And it's only dark here, and over here it sort of lightens up, but we're gonna work on that. Okay. There we go. So you see we're reestablishing this really beautiful dark edge here, which is really nice. And so you see we have, this is part 3, yes, and we are taking our time. We're not in any rush, but as you can see, we have a very nice mapping out of values. And hey Rob, how you doing? Good to see you. So that's okay. And Rob, I want you to know that in the beginning, I talked about, thanking you for being a Patreon subscriber, and you are in the running for next week to win this painting. And this is the painting of Alizé, Rob. And so next week we're going to do the drawing. I'm not sure if it's going to be, most likely the day after Christmas. So that's fantastic. So right now there's 6 of you, so 1 in 6. Yes, in Scotland. Don't worry, if you win, I'll definitely let you know. And I'm going to have the drawing, filmed and everything so you guys could see it. So very exciting, and thank you for your support, Rob, and the great work that you do. And thank you. I appreciate that, sir. So Rob is a very good artist. He works with the airbrush, and he is in Scotland. Now, what city in Scotland are you in, Rob? I did get overzealous with this dark here. I'm going to adjust that. But I might keep it because I kind of like the way that dark sort of comes, get a little more volume. Increase that cast shadow from her hand. And Tone says he's going to finish it, but I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm looking forward to the next one too. Glasgow, all right, but came from Edinburgh. Now, Edinburgh, if I'm not mistaken, is that where John Everett Millay was from? The painter, he was one of the Pre-Raphaelites. I know he was Scottish, if I'm not mistaken. So great country, my friend. And so let's go ahead and just sort of continue working on these edges here. So right here we have some really nice rich darks. And let's just pull them out. So right now I'm in the medium mixture. But I'm not using the medium mixture in any of the face or the hands. I'm keeping that with the light mixture because I want to turn the form. But right now I want to hit these really darks in her photo. And as you can see in the picture that we're working from here. So this is what we're working from. So we have these really rich darks going here and over here, and these really nice edges. So that's basically what I'm trying to do here, as you can see. So that's where I am. And you can see when you look at them side by side, some little adjustments you can make. And one of those adjustments is maybe come in a little bit on an edge there, fix that angle. But you can see we are really getting a a feeling of the painting as a whole, of her pose, of her expression as a whole, and we're general right now, and we're going to go into specifics. So you see right now we're working on the hairline with the medium mixture, which is darker, and we're just working on the darks here, nothing crazy. So the hair is fine with the medium mixture at that point. The darks in the shadow area is fine, but going in the medium mixture in the skin, not good, too early. You just got to stick with the recipe, you know. I have a lot of these live streams up, and you can see as I'm working with them, you know, stick with that recipe and it's going to come out okay. We just got to take our time. So now I have my aggressive eraser, and we're in the last couple of minutes of this live stream, and we're just going to just kind of put in some of the negative shapes of her hair at the hairline. Now you want to use that 10-second rule, you know, work, 1 second rule, and that's a ratio. So if you look for 2 seconds, you paint for 2 seconds, you want to look for 2 seconds. So you want to look at your reference for 2 seconds and then go ahead and work for 2 seconds. And what that does, it keeps you from wandering and sort of not paying attention to your reference and going your own. Hey, Brad, thank you so much. You said it looks great. I hope you have a great night, and always a pleasure, Brad. Let me know when those inks come in the mail. Hopefully tomorrow to Canada. So I have some inks going to Bradley in Canada, so that's cool. All the different countries these inks are in is really exciting. You know, France and Austria and Greece, England, the UK. Really fantastic. So great night, man. Good to see you, sir. And so as you can see, I think we had a very successful live stream. Some good inspiration, great people, wonderful conversation. Wendy says, awesome job. Thank you so much. Wendy, have a great night. So we are at 11:28. I'm going to stick by until 11:30. I'm going all the way, guys. Even though I'm tired, I am going all the way. So I will keep in touch with you guys on Facebook and everything, but I think it might be the day after Christmas we do the live stream. I'm not sure, but definitely if you thank you so much, Zavi and Rob B, and let me see, we are at 11:29. I'm not a second early, so I'm just gonna work on the hair a little bit here. But as you can see, this is Chinoa after part 3. And we're just having fun. Some nice things are happening here. And just creating that wonderful expression that she has. And I love the way she's sort of hiding that eye underneath her hand. Sort of that cast shadow going on there, which is really a lot of fun. I always look for poses that have expression. Sometimes over the top expression, sometimes, subtle expressions like this one here. Always try and use the softest eraser possible, especially in the fleshy areas. So guys, it's 11:30. We did it, 2 hours. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is so fantastic. If I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas. But we are going to have the live stream. I'm not sure if it's going to be next Wednesday or next Thursday. But I will send out an email to the Ink Flingers. If you're not on my mailing list, just email me paintedglyphs@gmail.com, the one you see there. paintedglyphs@gmail.com. And send me an email or instant message me and give me your email address, and I'll make sure I put you on there. So next week, Christmas or day after, and we'll have the contest for the painting that you're going to win. So take care, guys, and hopefully you'll catch the earlier next time. And always a pleasure there, Rob and Tone and Zavi and Brad and Rick, everybody, Rick's wife, Wendy, and Bill, and everyone, everyone who came by today, Super Sicko, everything, just fantastic. Take care, guys. Always a great pleasure to hang out with you. I don't know what my Wednesdays would be without you.